Welcome to Q&A practice. Let's go ahead and get started with the transcript we've been working on here with the firefighter, the EMT, paramedic. Okay, here we go. And when would you have held those positions as a reserve firefighter? 85 to 88, I worked for Orange County Fire Authority as a paid, qualified firefighter, and 90 to 95, approximately, I worked as a reserve for Laguna Beach Fire Department. Any other work experience in those areas? No. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the incident. You were working the night of February 18th, 2006, correct? Yes. Was there any particular shift that you were working that day? I'm A shift at Station 5. What shift? I'm sorry. A shift. A shift? There's an A, B, and C. Okay. What are the hours for A shift? We work 24-hour shifts, and it falls about 10 days a month throughout the year, and it is a different schedule. We have a set schedule. For the next 5-10 years, we could figure it out, but it matches out so that we can figure out our schedules, but it's different days all the time. But they're all basically 24-hour shifts. They're 24-hour shifts. We start at 8 in the morning and work till 8 the next morning. So you were present. You got dispatched to the scene of this particular accident at 1844. Is that correct? Yes. We've already mentioned some of the other people that were there with you. Joe, Kevin, Jerry, and then Robert. Was anyone else working or anybody else respond to the call that night for the Orange County Fire Authority that you can recall? Not for Orange County Fire Authority. The PCR report, the pre-hospital care report, who prepared that? I believe on this call, Bob Owens was the one who documented most of it, meaning he actually wrote in the information. Yes. Would you have had any part in preparing this report or providing the information that was put into the report? Well, I provide almost all the information put into the report. Okay, what was your role that night? I was a patient man that evening. I responded to the call. I'm the one responsible for treating the patient. Any type of treatment that the patient received is from me or delegated by me, and then my partner is the one documenting, and he was on the radio as well, calling it into the base hospital. Who would you delegate to if you were delegating? My EMTs that I'm working with, both Kevin, Joe, Jerry, and also the EMTs that show up on the ambulance. Do you, as you sit here today, do you have an independent recollection of this call, responding to it? Very brief. Okay, it might be easier if you just tell me what you remember, and then I'll go through and ask some more specific questions. Objection to the extent that it calls for a narrative response as phrased. You can answer, okay, sorry about that. I remember getting to the scene. I remember seeing a lady figure lying face down in the street. and it was near a bus stop, and implied by the call, it was an auto versus pedestrian type call. And then the only other part of the actual call that I do remember is the smell of ETOH, or alcohol, on the patient. ETOH, ETOH, yes, our abbreviation for alcohol smell. I don't exactly know what it stands for. Is there any particular reason why that stands out in your mind? Is that a significant observation? It was a significant finding, yes, because it made it difficult for me to assess the patient. In what way did it make it difficult for you to assess her? I couldn't tell whether her injuries or the way she was acting was caused by the alcohol or by the accident itself. Is there any particular, when you say the way she was acting, was there anything about her behavior in particular that stands out in your mind when she was altered? In what way? In that she could not answer all my questions or respond to me appropriately as you and I are speaking right now, either based on what your own memory or based on what you may have documented or what was documented in the reports. Is there anything that you can tell me that she wasn't responding to appropriately, or what kind of questions she wasn't able to answer for you? She couldn't tell me the time of day, the place where she was, the situation, what had happened. Was there anything else about her behavior that's noted on the report or that you can recall that made it difficult for you to determine whether it was the effects of alcohol or the nature of the injury? She was combative, and had repetitive questioning the entire time. Do you have a recollection of what kind of questions she was asking? I don't know specific questions that she was asking. All right. Let's do a little practice with our other transcript. And we also have the plaintiff as the questioning attorney. Here we go. It would have been July or August of 96, right? Did you stock the drugstore prior to July or August of 96 inventory-wise? Yes, to a certain extent. Then what did the SBA money go for? The SBA money, there was an advancement and the drug company shipped me based on them getting the money. When the SBA money came through, it went directly to them, to the drugstore. I never saw it. They gave me merchandise and they got the SBA money. What drug company? LA Drug Company. That was the drug company you bought the bulk of your merchandise from? Right. So you didn't go shopping to individual suppliers, right? They would carry the bulk of your inventory, right? Were there other suppliers that you dealt with other than LA Drug Company? Sure, but they could put you in business as far as a drugstore. The other suppliers are nominal as far as inventory from the LA Drug Company is the aggregate. Yes, I would say so. What did your $25,000 go towards? The fixtures and merchandise. Was there any accounting maintained insofar as segregating the SBA funds and your $25,000? No, there was not. No, it was all together. Do you know how much the SBA contributed towards inventory? If you know, I might be able to refresh your memory. I remember we fixed it around, I see, a $33,000 number. Yes, is that accurate? That is as much as I can remember right now. What types of inventory would this have been principally? Mostly over-the-counter and proprietary drugs, aspirin and Alka-Seltzer. Do you have any idea how much inventory you were carrying? When are we talking about? Let's say the end of 96, towards the end of 96. In other words, after this was funded, you opened in May and the SBA funded in July, maybe the fourth quarter of 96. How much was on the premises? Yes, $60,000. It is strictly a guess. All right, that concludes our Q&A practice. Thank you.